Hello, folks. Welcome back to the program. It's Chris live in Central Pennsylvania with another continuing series of interviews with South African refugees who come over the States. Let me check on the sound. Interviews with, all right, sounds pretty good. And today it's Arthur Fonzarelli, the Fons. Hey, how's Richie Cunningham doing there, Fons, over there in Denver, Colorado?
Good afternoon, Colonel. Very well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's my pleasure. So, you know, I got a little confused. I thought you were the sibling of someone else that I know named Paul Ferreira. And so when I saw that, they said, I'm going to pick my brother up. I'm like, he lives in Rustenburg? What's going on here? Anyway, so you just arrived recently, correct?
Last week, Tuesday.
Oh, wow. You were fresh off the boat, man. You still got that South Africa smell to you.
Yes, and the jet lag.
Oh, yeah. So that's still bothering you after a week?
Yes, hectic. Well, every morning here by 2 o'clock, I'm awake. Then I'm walking around here, so.
That would explain why you answered the text message I sent you at 3 o'clock in the morning, my time.
Yeah, I was watching that show 2:30 that morning, I think, yeah.
That's pretty funny. Anyway, so congratulations. So you are South African. You applied. You're from Northwest, if I'm not mistaken. At least you were living there. You applied for the program. Let's talk about that. When did you first become aware of the program?
Okay, Colonel, remember now that PRM email thing came out?
I do.
So at that time with the PRM, look, there was no real instruction to say, look, you have to send the email to this, and it was that like a probation thing, for a survey or whatever.
As a proof of concept, they were trying to they're trying to elicit information to see how much interest there was in the program. Yep.
So I didn't send an email to the PRM because I didn't have my passports yet. I didn't have the birth certificate. So I said, well, let's just wait till it officially opens. Surely it sooner or later will open. And after that PRM thing started, we immediately went and we did our passports and the birth certificates. So by the time that it actually opened on the 12th of May, we had our passports by then. And I think it was here by beginning April, we got our birth certificates. So that's when we did the 12th May application.
Okay, so you never did send the PRM email then?
No, never.
Okay, so you waited. So you did 12 May, and you arrived in in November of, or was it already after December 1st?
2nd December we arrived.
So December. So you did 12 May. June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So it took you 7 months to get here from the day you send it in. Because I keep getting people who sending emails and people who come in the chat and say that, well, no one's going over, they're ignoring all of us, the people from May. Well, that's simply not true because you're evidence of a person who put in the statement of interest. Now, whether that's timely or you like the timeline or they like the timeline isn't germane. The issue is that they are processing those people from that time frame and you're proof in the pudding, correct?
Yes, absolutely. And there's other people that was on the plane with me that also only applied on the 12th of May.
Okay.
No, that also didn't do PRM.
All right. Well, because people are saying that those people are being ignored, and well, they're not being processed as fast as I think they should be, but they're not being ignored. They are being processed. I don't think people realize just the overwhelming number of cases or interest in applications are. So, how did you find out about the statement of interest on 12th of May?
From your channel.
From my channel. Okay. Yeah, I was sitting at Wimpy at OR Tambo when that was announced, and I went and put a video up right away. And then in the 2 hours to fly to Cape Town, by then I had about 20 or 30,000 views on my short. It was pretty quick. Yeah, because people were curious. All right, so that's when you found out about it. What was the most challenging thing for you? You didn't live that far away from wherever you had to get your interview. You don't have to tell me where it was at. You can say the town if you want, but it's not that far away. So it wasn't transportation. Not like people have to go from East London to Cape Town.
No. It was a totally different story, actually.
Okay, tell us.
We live in Western Cape, just about 40 km from.
Oh, I thought you were in Rustenburg. My bad. Okay.
No. So actually, you see, the first contact I had with CWS was on the 10th of September. And then they told me that. So I suspected something is going to happen soon. And I thought, at that time, Cape Town wasn't on the map for interviews and all that thing. And back then, when they contacted you, the people were going for like interviews in like 4 or 5 days in a week's time. So I said, well, I think we better get to Pretoria. So we jumped on a bus, and on the 22nd, 23rd, and the 24th of September, we did our interviews in Pretoria. So thinking that all the people, the refugees back then, left from Pretoria or from Joburg at that time, I might as well just stay there and not go back to Cape Town. So eventually, when we got the flight details and stuff, I saw, no, back to Cape Town. So we had to take the bus back to Cape Town. And I did send RSC email to tell them, listen, we are in Johannesburg at the moment. If it's possible to rather let us fly from OR Tambo. But yeah, I'm not complaining about it. So it was just our final road trip in South Africa.
All right, so you got to ride the bus. I'm sure that was real special in South Africa. I've seen the long distance buses there. I'll take a firm pass on that one. All right, so you got through, but what was the most challenging part of the process for you? Was there anything that was a particular hang up? I mean, obviously we've talked about the fact that you had to get your passports and birth certificates. I mean, but that's a South African issue, not a U.S. issue. So was there anything? I mean, and a lot of people are frustrated by the uncertainty, how long they think it's taking, whether someone's answering them or not. They're just kind of in limbo. What was the biggest frustration for you? Because there had to be a frustration. I mean, it can't be just smooth sailing.
The not hearing anything. I think that was a big issue for me. You know, you always in your mind that these guys forget about you or anything like that. But when they brought out that my case thing, where you can actually follow your progress, I think that allayed a lot of fears. And I think it was about the waiting, the not knowing. And I think there will be a lot less people worried and complaining if they just know what is happening, you know. So that's my opinion. But the waiting is hectic.
Well, I agree with your opinion there, Fons. I mean, you know, not knowing, that's very frustrating. And I agree that having the my case online thing should make it easier. But in fact, from my perspective, it's made things much worse for some people because of the way their case is on. They don't understand the process. They're like, oh, well, it's approved, but why am I sitting here and this and that and this? And I try to explain it, but it's sometimes people are just too emotional, too wrapped up in it to listen and pay attention to what I say. But I mean, so I agree with you that does help, but it's also created some problems for people who just don't understand the process. So I get that, you know, waiting and not knowing. That's got to be tough. That's got to be frustrating, no doubt about it. All right, let's get beyond that. Had you flown before, or is this first time for you and family flying? Because a lot of people have never been on a plane before. I mean, look, when Thea came on my program, she'd never even been to an escalator before. I was like, what? You've never seen an escalator? So she was taken aback by escalators. I mean, not to insult South Africans, but the average South African doesn't really fly that often.
No. Back in the days when I was still a youngster, I actually worked in New York and in Florida on the cruise ships. So now I've done the flying thing before. So, but yeah, it's still hectically long.
All right. So, but your family came over with you. Was it a first time flying for them?
Yeah, internationally, first time. Yeah, no. Look, my daughter was looking out of the window the whole time. So she really enjoyed it. So.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, how old is your daughter? Is she 4 or 17?
She's 12.
Okay, so right in the middle there. Okay, that's fine. The 12-year-olds are curious. They're going to look out the window. But that's a long time to be looking out the window.
Oh, yeah. And she was talking to the fellow refugees and their children. Oh, it was... she was on her own, luckily. So
So you came over and then you landed in Atlanta, I believe. If not, you correct me.
No. Newark.
You went to Newark. Like I said, you were on a United flight then, not a Delta flight.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, so you went to United flights. You went to Newark. That's not the best airport, by the way. And in case you didn't know that, I don't know if you had time in the transfer, but Newark has a cashless policy. If you don't have a credit card, you have to starve when you're at that airport. I hate that airport. But so you came from Newark and then you flew out to Denver. Did you have to wait long for your transfer, and did you get all your bags?
Okay, when we landed, it was, I don't know, I think Newark had a blizzard or something. It was hectic. The weather was bad, and So from New York, there was a bit of an issue. You know, with not an issue, but it's a hang of a process to get into the States through Customs and Border Patrol and all that sort of thing. And yes, you're overwhelmed. There's a lot of people. Look, the airport's so big. I think we taxied like half an hour to get to the gates. I think that's like the size of Cape Town, I think, that bloody airport. Then we had to get to a different terminal, Terminal C. So we got everyone together. We think we're going to walk now to Terminal C. So the one guy, where are you guys going? No, we're going to Terminal C. Now you must go that way. There, you must take a train there, or sky train or something. So yeah, that was quite an experience. So yeah, and but there's a lot of police present there and guards and all that. But what I wanted to say, Colonel, is you are under a lot of pressure when you coming into the States, and the security checks. There was one stage where you had to do like your both fingerprints at the same time, and there's people talking this way and that way, and I actually forgot my passport with the one border agent. So as soon as I've managed to get the gate open to go through, I just started walking, and this woman started screaming, "There, here's your passport." And what happened, one of our fellow South Africans, refugees that was on the plane, when we got to Newark, you get 2 envelopes when you leave South Africa with your documentation and stuff in. Now, the one envelope is for Customs and Border Patrol, with probably the most important document in there. So with the same thing where we scan your finger, where you had to scan both fingers, she also struggled with her 2 thumbs, and she actually forgot and left the damn envelope on the desk. So then we were wondering, where are they? We don't see them. And it was a big issue. They wanted to send them back to South Africa because they can't. Then one of the guys, the American State Department officials that was there, he actually took out his credentials and he intervened there. And I say, within like 30 minutes, they had a document in their hand. So the help we got and they got was amazing. It's brilliant. So
Fons, on that story, let me just interrupt there for a second. I think you're about to finish it anyway. So what you've just done is confirm what I've been telling people all along. When I had people a few months ago tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about, that the reason that people weren't coming is because they had to get the presidential declaration for the number of refugees, and I explained to people that the reason people weren't coming, that may be a contributing factor, but the bottom line, people weren't coming is because there weren't U.S. officials. If we don't have State Department or Homeland Security people able to process you, to receive you, to take you to the airport on that end, to receive on this end, then you don't come. You've just confirmed exactly what I've been telling people for months, is that you had to have a State Department official there. If not, you would have had a disaster. We have to receive you. And that's what I've been telling people. But everyone wants to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm so sick of these idiots who don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand immigration. They don't understand international travel. Ask Arctic. He knows. He's a pilot. He knows how this stuff works. Although they get to slide in the slide door. Those pilots have those badges that get to go around security and all that stuff. But they do go through security. It's just a lot easier. But my point is that you have U.S. personnel that must be in South Africa at the airport to make sure you get out of there, because you are now our responsibility as the U.S. government. We've accepted you as a refugee. We're sending you out. And that's why you're not flying in South African Airways. Well, they don't fly. And why you're not flying on Lufthansa or KLM or Air France or Dubai or Emirates, because the U.S. has control over U.S. carriers, and that's why we bring you over here. So, I appreciate you telling that story. Now, somebody said in the chat that you lost your wife at the airport. What? What's this all about?
Yeah, that was with this crazy passport thing, you're running up and down. Look, I'm just saying, normally you would think that you will be, I won't lose my passport or I won't lose my envelope, but it's a different situation there. You worried, is there something wrong with your fingerprints? Why is the thing not opening? If this thing is not opening, you're not going to the States. It does happen. So I'm just saying to the people, just be calm and you know, keep your documents in your hand. You know, that's my advice.
All right, so Fons, that is so. On that advice, you know, I always carry a satchel which has my documents in it. Also has my car reservations and my confirmations and any hotel and all that stuff because sometimes you need it when you travel. But I always have that with me. And the recommendation here is, I think Artie just said it. So for the refugees, we're gonna have to treat you like kids that are unaccompanied minors who are traveling and put a thing around your neck with a string on it with all your documents in it. But that aside, you need to have a satchel or a bag or something, and make sure before you pick up and move, anytime you move, look around, all around, did I leave anything there? Because if you leave something there, you might cause a problem for yourself. So just be very careful, folks. Good advice there. But go ahead.
But Colonel, on that point is, you know, with the state department officials, it's not one or two. There was like, I think 4 or 5 there. You know, they keep us together. They more worried than what we are. So they every 2 minutes they ask, is everybody here? Is everybody there? They with us from the moment you step off the plane. They wait at the gangway for you. You know, it's amazing. It is just amazing. They more concerned than what we are concerned.
Well, Fons, there's a couple reasons for that, okay? Number one, they have a responsibility, and so they take their responsibility seriously. But number two, if there's a cock-up, they don't get to go home until it's all sorted out.
Yeah. So with all this paperwork and passport issues, I was the last guy on the connecting flight. Luckily, we had about 2 hours for our flight to Denver. So yeah, by the time I was walking down the gangway, they were screaming at me, "Come, run!" And yeah, as soon as they closed the door, and there we go. So yeah, then some of the guys that was with us, they also landed in New York. Then they flew with us to Denver, and from Denver they had another connecting flight to Utah. So yeah, they were an extra hour or 2 hours in the air.
Well, yeah, but they got a pretty good deal. Going to Utah is not a bad thing, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so what was it like? I mean, you fly from Newark to Colorado, you leave, it's 3 hours in the air, but you arrive an hour later because of the time zones.
Hey, I'm still confused with this times. I'm sitting on my fingers every 5 minutes. It's yeah.
All right, so Fons, we'll get on to more of this conversation, but for just a moment, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button if you don't mind, folks. This is Fons. This is Arthur Fonzarelli there from South Africa, who's joining us today. We're talking about his experience as refugee coming to America. I think his son might be popping on the program a little bit later on. I don't recall if that was the case, or maybe I'm confusing conversation, but somebody said their son was going to come on. But, you know, so we're talking about going over there, and I got to share this with you, Fons, very quickly. You're actually very fortunate. It may have seemed like Newark is huge. Newark is a tiny airport compared to Atlanta. Atlanta is huge. It's massive, and so is Dulles. But Atlanta takes the cake. It's the busiest airport in the world. It's overtaken Chicago O'Hare, which used to be the biggest airport in the world. Yeah. But Atlanta is just massive. And if you had to get from one place to another in Atlanta, good luck with that. Newark is actually, I realized it seemed big, but it's small compared. It's about half the size of Atlanta. So, and also getting through immigration on international flights, there are fewer international flights coming at the same time. So normally speaking, the queues are much shorter at Newark just because of that. And I hope that was the case. But it sounds like you got through okay, despite leaving your passport behind.
Look, I don't think there's a small airport in the States. I mean, Denver, we taxied about 15 minutes. We were all talking about it. This place is huge.
Denver is a big airport. I taxied like 12 minutes one day. I know what you're talking about. I've been to Denver several times the past few years. But yeah, it is a huge airport. But there are tiny airports. I mean, go to Bozeman, Montana. Go to Harrisburg. You can walk around the Harrisburg airport in less than 10 minutes, all 3 terminals. It's pretty small. But that's great. I love it. That's a close airport. The only problem is always have to have extra flights to connect to the major hubs. But okay, so you made it to Denver. Was there a refugee assistance officer there for you and all the other refugees, or were there multiple ones from different agencies? How did that go?
Yeah, by the time I got off the plane last again, because my daughter dropped some of her earphones there in the plane, so that was a search party. Yeah, as we walked out, the refugee agent was waiting for us. So yeah, since landing at this, well, from leaving the hotel in Cape Town, we've been accompanied by somebody. We've never been alone. It's amazing. The whole process, the people don't have to stress. You don't have to worry about nothing. Just keep your documents with you. That's the only thing you must worry about.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so Arctic, of course, as a pilot, says Newark is easy peasy. Well, by comparison, for the pilots and also plus it's a great view. When you come into Newark, you see the New York skyline. You see Manhattan. It's just off in the distance. It's really. Did you get a chance to look out the window and see that, or did you come in at a flight path where you couldn't see it?
No, I saw it, but I saw the clouds. It was like overcast and raining, so we didn't see anything.
Well, Hendo is saying that, I guess Hendo is alluding to a military experience, says it sounds like an obstacle course to run through here. So I guess you don't need any military training. You got it at the Newark airport.
Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah. Stressful.
All right. So, look, I know like most South Africans, you love the cold. You look forward to the snow, and you're really excited about the snow. Denver's not exactly Cape Town, my friend.
Not at all. Not at all. No. But... You know, we landed and it was like a blizzard here on that Tuesday and that Wednesday. But it's like the last 3-4 days, it was sunshine. I mean, it's cold, but I think it's still coming probably, the real winter. But yeah, well, it's beautiful here. Beautiful.
It is. And in fact, you're right at the base of the Rocky Mountains here. Denver sits out in the flats, just the flat prairie that's just to the east of the Rocky Mountains. And there's so much to see and do around there. For instance, I don't know if you realize this, but just a few kilometers away is Golden, Colorado, which is the home of Coors Brewing Company. And they have a fantastic beer tour there. You should take it if you get a chance. It's not far away, Golden, Colorado. Lots of other stuff to see there. Pikes Peak is close by, but that's a long drive.
What's the place called? Coors? What?
Coors, C-O-O-R-S, just like the Irish band, Coors. Yeah,
definitely go visit
it's in Golden, Colorado, which is a short drive from Denver. And then in addition to that, you've got Pikes Peak, which is a much longer drive. That take you a couple hours, but that's the big mountain. That's a little bit south of Denver, so down by Colorado Springs. So that's going to be a few hours away from you. But there's plenty to see in Denver. You've got the Broncos out there. I don't know if they have basketball. The Nuggets, who cares about that? But the most important thing in Denver, from my perspective, is you got the Colorado Rockies, the baseball. You got the Denver Broncos. You've got the Golden Nuggets from the NBA, but it's the Colorado Avalanche. It's the best team in the National Hockey League right now. Tickets are expensive, but you never know. You might get a comp ticket or something like that. But they have a really lovely arena. I've gone there, stayed downtown at Sheraton. But yeah, so Denver is pretty lovely. So, I mean, what's your experience like in Denver so far? You've been there a very short time, so it's difficult to get a good grasp of things. But other than, you're at high altitude. So this isn't Cape Town. This is like being in the Highveld now.
Yeah, look. My opinion is just, if you're going to sit in your flat the whole day and not go out, you're going to struggle. That's my opinion. So the first day I think it was Thursday, my wife and the other South African here, Lorraine, they went out. We all jumped on a bus. First time that we ever been on a bus. So we stopped at the bus stop here by us. We spoke to the driver. He explained to us how it works. Well, from then on, I think we've been on the bus 4 times already. And, my wife and this lady and some other South African as well, they went out yesterday. They already got 2 job offers just from walking around and talking to the people at the shops. So it is just amazing. The reception we got here is just amazing.
So I already got job offers. That's pretty good. I didn't check the unemployment rate in Denver, but I'm sure it's pretty low, like much of the country there. A lot of people asking about where you guys. No, John Denver has nothing to do with Colorado. That's just I just sang a song, Rocky Mountain High. And someone asked where Aspen is. It's about a 2-hour drive from there, minimum with the traffic from Denver. And yes, Coors, Coors, that's in Golden, Colorado. So Fons, the job offers that's pretty quick, and you've already figured out the bus and transportation. Most of the refugees I've been talking to have already told me about they've had a visit to Walmart already. Have you been to a Walmart? I'm just curious. Twice.
Yeah. It's huge. It's like Macro Centurion times 2. So that place is huge. So yeah, what an experience. But I must say, my wife went to King's Super. It's like a Kroger's affiliate or something. What an amazing shop, and it's just around the corner here by us, so even walking distance.
Yeah, no, so there's more. I mean, so just for people in the audience to understand. So what we're talking about is the equivalent of like Pick and Pay, Checkers, ShopRite. These are grocery supermarket chains, and we have Kroger's, we have Safeway, we have Piggly Wiggly down south. There's a number of these chains. That's one that's, as he says, affiliated with Kroger's. Albertsons used to be a big one, but I think Albertsons and Kroger's have merged now. So yeah, we're talking about grocery stores. So if you've been to the supermarket and you went looking for the food, were you disappointed in how few choices there were for the things you wanted to buy?
Very disappointed. Very disappointed. Yeah, shelves were empty. Extremely expensive. Yeah, it was quite a shocking experience. So we didn't know what to buy and what to leave. So it's wonderful. I must say. It's day and night difference from South Africa to here. And how sad I was to leave South Africa. I mean, it's never, you were born there, but yeah, it's better. It's just.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. So you've come to the States. I don't know if we want to talk too much about your experience, but I'm guessing in your case, you probably had you were able to articulate some past racial persecution, and that's probably what got you over here. I mean, if you don't have to go into it, but is that the basis for it, or is it you were able to articulate a fear of future persecution, or both?
No, mainly past, and obviously everyone sees the fear for future persecution, but yeah, it's what everyone is actually leaving about, the Witkrys monument and all that. So yeah, that was the reason,
All right, so your kid that's over there, did you say daughter? I think you said your daughter was looking out the window. Yeah. So she's been there a week. How's she adjusting?
I think better than we do. I mean, she's playing in the snow, and she just asked when she gonna start school. So yeah, no, she's all over the place here.
No, I would imagine that they'll probably try to get her registered in school for January so she doesn't fall behind or something like that.
Yes, that's the plan. Yeah.
That's
we did the paperwork for the schools. We did the applications on Friday for 3 different schools. The preferred school is actually right across the road from us, so we are holding thumbs that she gets into that school. So.
Well, it's fascinating because Willem and Cara, where they're located at, I had to drive by the school around the corner to get to their house. It's that close to the public schools, like right there. And then the university where the 19-year-old daughter is going is about 1.5 kilometers from where they live. It worked out really well for them in Twin Falls up there in Idaho. But Denver is an interesting place. It's at altitude. It's higher altitude than the Highveld, but it's called the Mile High City for a reason, because it's at that altitude. But I tell you, people in Denver always talk about the altitude, but that's nothing. I used to live in Ethiopia. It's twice as high. Yeah. It's at over 9,000, almost 10,000 feet. So someone asked a question about eating. I don't know if you have much chance if you're cooking things at home or whatever, but or if you've done a takeaway or something like that. But have you had anything that's American, and don't say McDonald's, have you had anything that's American that you've enjoyed yet?
On Tuesday when we arrived, it was quite late in the afternoon, and the refugee agent brought us some pizza burritos. It wasn't bad, but this black beans is the first time I see black beans. I don't know. I know baked beans, not black beans. So I didn't like black beans. A bean shouldn't be black, according to me. I don't know, but.
Well, then you don't know Mexican food, my friend, because black beans are a staple Mexican food. I hear laughing in the background. Obviously, people are off camera. They're enjoying the conversation. That's good to hear. Sounds like good.
My flat is a halfway house. All the South Africans are sitting here.
Are they? And none of them are offering interviews. Tell them to foot sec.
I'm going to.
All right. So just a quick thing about airports here. There's some chat in the conversation here about airports. They're all fascinated about airports. Someone's saying, I think Yell Tapper saying he hates Schiphol in Amsterdam and prefers Charles de Gaulle. Well, listen, I'm going to tell you what. I've traveled all these airports, and I'll take Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam any day over Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle is impersonal. It's huge. The French are rude, even if you speak French. It's not a pleasant experience. Schiphol, the Dutch are friendly, and they got nice little shops there. Anyways, but everyone has their own personal preferences. Okay, so you say other South Africans. Are these folks that came on the flight with you, or they were already there? Are they South Africans who lived there previously? What's the deal? You don't have to tell us their names, but what's going on? Who are these people sitting there listening to our conversation? You didn't tell me I was going to be spied on.
The one lady is Lorraine. She came a week before us. So we all went, like, when we arrived, we went on the bus trips and all that. There's about, 10 people here in this complex that we stay now. So, and then there's people that came with us to Denver, but they being dealt with a different refugee agent or agency or something. Well, they're staying about 15 minutes here from us. So they close by, but a different agency, so.
Okay, see, so Fons, that's an important thing. That's why I asked a question. You didn't have to tell us Lorraine's name, but hi, Lorraine. Nice to see you there. But no, I just want to get a feel. So, because that leads into a question I'm going into now. And that is, I've tried to explain to people that there are different refugee assistance agencies, sometimes in big cities. If you go to a small town, it might just be one. So in this case, there's more than one, and they may have a different experience. That's why we do all these interviews. Every refugee has a different experience. Every refugee, whether it's your application process, it's a response from the U.S. government or the third parties that are processing you and screening you, or it's the travel, or it's your arrival. Everyone has a different experience, and that's important. Someone wrote to me earlier in the last stream about in Oregon they're having challenges where they're living, and I had people that lived in Austin, Texas, who had a great experience coming over, but they were put in a crime-ridden neighborhood and they were ignored, and I was able to intervene and help them out. But everyone has a different experience. Thea had an amazing experience. I mean, they were driving her nuts, bringing food to her every day. Hey, here's more food. Here's more food. She's like, I'm by myself. I can't eat all this food. But so that's why it's important to hear about the other folks. And if any of them want to come on the program, they're welcome to do it. And if they're listening, we do anonymous ones too. If people want to come on, I can, they can just have a blank screen up there, and I'll make up a name for them. I don't know if you saw the interview I did months ago with Willem and Cara up in Twin Falls. I didn't say where they're at, and I had them on screen, and all it said was Jan and Mariki, and they spoke.
Jan and Mariki.
Yes, they're very famous
Who
now.
can forget that?
Yes, they're very famous as Jan and Mariki now. They're not the only ones. I also had another interview where I did anonymous. That's fine. I appreciate where people come from, and they have concerns back there. But so your brother actually took you to the airport. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, not to the airport, to the bus station, and when he was planning on taking us to OR Tambo. And then, when the flight ticket came that we had to fly from Cape Town, he just dropped us off the Pretoria at the bus station, and that's when we hit the road to Cape Town.
Okay, I don't blame him, because that's about $2,800 in petrol to go to Cape Town and back from there.
Yeah, if not more, at our prices.
All right, so what's the accommodation like? I mean, I came home last week and I didn't see you sitting in a FEMA tent in my front yard. I did have to chase some other people away, but you weren't in a FEMA tent in my front yard. So, I mean, everyone has different accommodation. Is it an apartment complex? Are you in a duplex? Did they give you a mansion? I mean, I hear that some people are getting those Bill Gates mansions, but I think that's a lie.
Okay, so when we arrived, or when the refugee agent picked us up, he brought us to this apartment complex. Now, apparently it was a university campus a couple of years ago or something. And they converted these buildings now into apartments. So they took us to a 2-bedroom apartment. And I don't know if I must say the rent or whatever, but it was, I think... just over $1,000, between $1,000 and $2,000. So I said, well, let me just have a look at the 1-bedroom place as well. So they showed us the 1-bedroom place, and it's actually quite nice. It's on the 3rd floor. And the rent was about $250 cheaper than the 2-bedroom place. So with us still waiting for Social Security and all that, we took the 1-bedroom place, which I'm actually happy we did. We save about $250 for now, so it helps a lot. Yeah.
So they gave you an option there. That's actually kind of nice.
It is. That's very nice, and it's fully furnished. Fridge, microwave, stove. Everything we need is here. So, and we don't pay electricity. We don't pay services. We don't pay sewer. Everything is included in that $1,200, say more $1,300. So.
Well, that's, for a major metropolitan area, that's actually a pretty good price. I mean, that may shock South Africans when they translate that into Rand at 17 or 20,000 Rand. Thank you.
Yeah, but you shouldn't. They shouldn't do that. I mean,
no, they shouldn't. That's what I'm getting at. So thank you, La Rochelle Herholt, for the 14 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. I think I missed the super chat earlier. I apologize if I did. I'll get to it at the end. But that's actually not that bad. $1,000 or $1,213 for rent. Now, there was a question in the chat, and it's a question we're asking most of the time. On your flight from South Africa, were there any colored or Indian South Africans that were on the flight with you?
No, none. Not that I saw. Yeah.
Okay. So also on that flight, now you appear to have Portuguese heritage. Am I mistaken?
No, you're 100% right.
So are you not an Afrikaner? You're Portuguese South African?
No, I'm a boer. Ek is a true-blooded, red-blooded boer.
Okay.
Now, my father, or my paternal Ferreira grandfather in 1716, he shipwrecked at where the castle is in Cape Town. So that's where the Ferreiras came from in South Africa, 1716 to be exact.
Oh, so they weren't the folks that fled from Angola in 75.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't realize that they'd gotten there that early. All right. So that answers two questions that I think people in the conversation had over there. Yeah. Don't convert the money in your head, folks, because first off, you're going to earn money that's would dwarf what you would get in South Africa in most cases. I mean, we have people working at McDonald's making $20 an hour here in Pennsylvania, and with no skills starting out. We have people working at Amazon warehouses making $19, $20 an hour plus incredible benefits. They get dental, they get medical, they get better benefits than I do as a 36-year combat veteran. It's insane. But so you can't convert. That's a bad idea. All right, so and you also mentioned the place is fully furnished. That's also a frequent, common situation. Apartments often come furnished. That's just the nature of it. Not always the case, but frequently the case. So have you been able to get anything done beyond that? Have they given you refugee cash assistance? Have you got enrolled in any programs? Have you applied for your Social Security number already, or is that still coming?
No. So the whole thing, what I've gathered, and from what I had an interview with the refugee agent that Thursday. It seems to me like the budget for refugees was cut quite a bit from what it used to be. So you get an X amount of, let's say, for example, let's say $5,000. So from that $5,000, they have to cover your rent for 1 or 2 or 3 months. From that money, some furniture must be bought, and we got $100 each, which is deducted from that budget, that $5,000. It's just under $5,000 that we have, or what they have to assist us with. So that's the key deposit for the flat. That's the first month's rent. They're going to pay the second month's rent. Hopefully by then we will be able to be on our own feet. The Social Security interview is this coming week, the 18th. Then we will have our Social Security interview. So probably a week or two after that, we will have our Social Security numbers. They've sent us things for, or they sent me a link for all these assistance programs, SNAP and a whole lot. So I completed that Friday morning online. So I'll probably hear early this week about all those things as well.
Well, that's an important distinction. That's why I asked the question about where you're at in the process, because you're relatively recent. Like I said, you still got South African soil on your boots. But so the reason I mention is because from when I did videos back in February, because Arctic encouraged me to make videos to answer people's questions that first week after Trump announced this, because I was covering this heavily, I made a video about financial assistance, what's available to refugees, that's entitlements and what services are. Much of that has changed because the Big Beautiful Bill. I've never done an updated video. The President Trump's Big Beautiful Bill eliminated many things for refugees. He wasn't targeting South Africans, just in general. And that included SNAP. That's supposed to go away for refugees coming up very soon, if not already. It's either January 1st or it was October 1st. I'm not sure which. So people need to understand that. You also need to be prepared that you're going to have to going from the jump start. You're not going to be able to come over and sit back and relax for a couple weeks or a month or two, because if you do, you're going to find yourself in a tough situation, because now the situation has changed and the refugee benefits, the actual entitlements have been reduced in some respects. What about health insurance? Do they enroll you in Medicaid or something like that, or Medicare? Medicaid? Yeah.
Not yet. That will probably be done. Look, they've been running around with all the refugees coming on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday. So, it will probably be every day now. But they mentioned it. They will take us to the doctor still, probably next week sometime. So yeah, that's all still coming.
All right, cool beans. And I just got a super chat came in from Johan van den Hieve, 40 Rand. Thank you for the clouds gathering. By the way, folks, if anybody's wondering, I am wearing a Springboks jersey listing the world champions. Yeah, here you go, from 2023 in France, with all the games on the back. And I did this after the abysmal weekend we had in South African rugby, where only the Stormers won. Fons,
atrocious.
The Sharks were sad.
Yeah. If they carry on like this, I'm going to be ice hockey or something.
Well, hey, look, the Colorado Avalanche, you could have wound up in a better spot to have the good team. That's a good spot to be.
No, I'll stick with my team.
So your brother's back in South Africa. Without going into that, do you have the family back there? Are you the only part of the family that came over so far?
Yeah, so far only one. My other brother in the East Rand, he's also coming over, but they're still in the process. So, yeah.
So
my oldest brother, Paul, the one that forced me to be a shark, he's in Rustenburg. So, yeah, I don't think they will be coming over soon.
All right. Well, I know Rustenburg very well because I used to live in Gaborone, so I was constantly in Rustenburg. Used to go to Waterfalls Mall quite a bit. In fact, the rugby ball that I have that was signed by Joel Stransky and by Victor Matfield, or no, was it Nas? It wasn't Victor. Nas and Joel Stransky. That ball I bought at Rustenburg at the sports shop there right next to Waterfalls Mall when I was up there in 2022.
Goodness.
Yeah, small world, huh?
Yeah, it is.
So is there anything, I mean, you've only been here a week, so it's kind of hard to ask if you miss anything already, but is there anything you miss already from South Africa?
Not really. I think it's so overwhelming, the amount of info you have to deal with here in the States now. Missing South Africa hasn't come up yet. So, but what I can say is the support on top, except for the refugee agency, the South Africans here in America, the South African women in the US, they are a group here. They are truly amazing, you know. So they managed to send us a few items today that we needed for the house. There's a South African family here close by Denver, I think in Boulder. They invited us for a luncheon next week, Saturday. So it's amazing, the help we get from, well, everyone, even the Americans. Unfortunately, I'm a smoker, so I'm too scared to go and smoke outside, except for the cold. But the American people here, as soon as I'm outside, there's like 2 or 3, 4 standing with me, and we're all chatting. So one smoke ends up to be like a half an hour exercise here. Well, but I enjoy it. I like it. I mean, and they ask me about South Africa, and well, most of them doesn't even know where South Africa is. So, yeah.
Well, that's fine. Most South Africans don't know where Denver is or Boulder, so turnabout's fair play on that. So you go out for a cig break, and it winds up being a cafe clutch on the street.
Hey, it's every single time. I think they watch me here from the windows or something. But yeah, I think it's all mostly elderly people as well. So, I enjoy it, and they enjoy it, and it's different, Colonel. It's different. I don't know.
Oh, I know. I've been all over the world. I've been on the other side too. It is different. Look, you know, it is very different, and so many things are different in so many ways. But as you're indicating, there are a fair number of South Africans already living in the States, plus refugees coming over sharing a similar experience. And so, as more and more numbers come over, we'll wind up seeing more things available. I mean, there are South Africans and their offspring who were born in America who produce biltong in America. You can buy it, for example. So there'll be other things that wind up. Depends on the concentration of South Africans where they wind up at. Those already here, probably about 60 to 100,000, somewhere in that figure before the refugee program. Now we'll see how many come over with the refugee program. But it definitely will change things. So it's interesting to see there's a fair number of South Africans there. Are there other refugees in your neighborhood that came from other parts of the world?
Yeah, there's then it's Afghanistanis, I think it's Afghanistanis. Well, you greet them, but they just give you an eyeball or something. But yeah, there's a lot here. There's quite a few here as well.
Are there any from countries where they say hello?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, we've taken tons of refugees in from Afghanistan, from the Congo, also from the Sahel region, and then, of course, Myanmar, too. So, yeah, I was just curious who's around you because Thea's experience in North Carolina, she had refugees from the rest of the world. The only ones that weren't particularly friendly were the males from Muslim countries that were a bit off-putting. But even they warmed up a little bit after she'd been there for a little while. So I was just curious about that. All right, so you made it over before Christmas. Have you thought about that? You're in America for Christmas. We're talking my gosh, I haven't changed this. 18 days away. I need to fix that. You're 18 days to Christmas. Have you thought about Christmas?
Not yet. My daughter did already from South Africa, looking forward for a white Christmas. So, yeah, so we'll start making plans probably this week already. So, yeah.
Well, that must be very exciting for her because I can't think that in her wildest dreams she ever expected to have a white Christmas, and now she's going to have one.
Well, I don't think any one of us expected that. Not in January. I didn't expect to be here in January. I didn't think I will sit in Denver come December. So, it's by the grace of God that we are here, and all the glory must go to Him for us being here. And I just want to say to the South Africans, don't stress. Don't stress about anything. You will be fine in South Africa, in America. You will be fine. The people, it's different. They care so much, and I think that's the impression I got. That's the impression the other South Africans I talked to here. My wife is the same. It's people, we were worried. We were worried about this. What are we going to eat? What are we going to do this? Are we going to find our way? And things just fall in place. And you must just ask the people. And it is, I can't say it enough. It's amazing. The camaraderie from the few South Africans that's here now and the American people around us here, but you will fit in 100%.
Well, Fons, Arctic just said, we tell them don't stress every Sunday on the Refugee Cafe Clutch. And by Monday, they're all worked up again over cock group comments. He's 100% correct. But this is what I say to South Africans. I'm like, okay, first off, take a deep breath. How do you think South Africans got to South Africa? Whether they're the Nguni-speaking peoples who migrated down the Rift Valley 1,300 years ago, crossing the Zambezi and Limpopo rivers, or they're Europeans who are French Huguenots, Germans, and Dutch who came to the Western Cape and became a community of Afrikaners at some point in Boers. How do you think they got there? There was no Medicaid. There was no refugee cash assistance. They got on a boat and they put their life at risk and they went someplace they'd never been before and they tried. In fact, we see the history of the truck boys, for instance. They just kept pushing. Those guys like to get away from authority. And the only thing that stopped them was tsetse fly and malaria. That's the only reason they aren't all the way up into the Congo living in large numbers. But the point here is that you're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. What about my medication? Oh, my goodness. This country prevents more medication than any country in the world.
Exactly.
People need to take a deep breath and stop panicking over this stuff. But also, Fons, we have a lot of people that don't realize it, or they do realize it. They're actually destination shopping. They're trying to immigrate. This is not an immigration program. This is for people who are suffering from racial persecution. And I think we need to get that message across to people.
Yeah, Colonel, and the other day, I was thinking about this, and there was a whole big thing about who said genocide and who didn't say genocide and all that. But my opinion is, as an Afrikaner, in my opinion, it's a genocide. I mean, if you look at 1838 with the Vienna massacre, what happened to Pieter Retief? I mean, we've been persecuted for hundreds of years now already. I mean, we lost 251 people just at the Vienna massacre, where women and children were thrown over the Blaukrans Bridge by the Zulus. I mean, we've been persecuted since then, and if it's not them, it's the British in the concentration camps. So people that doesn't know our Afrikaner Boer history, they shouldn't make comments like that. I mean, we are probably one of the most persecuted nations in the world, in my opinion. That's how I feel.
That's a fair point. There's a couple things came up in the chat while you were saying that. Number one is Loretta was asked a question. You have to stay at a hotel near the airport. Loretta, that's an operational security question. I'm not going to answer that. You'll find out. You'll get the details. All the close to, what is it, 3 plus another, about 500 that have come over, 600 come over so far. They've got the details of what you have to do. So I'm not going to answer that question because there are ferrayas, there are fake media, and there are also threats to people. So I'm not going to share that information. You will find out. Don't worry about it. Diana Thompson said, please remember the British settlers. Before I get in a fight with Afrikaners and Brits, hang on. Let me just say that I didn't mention the English who came to South Africa. I also didn't mention the Greeks who came in the 20th century, or the Jews who came in the 19th century, or the Portuguese who came in 75 from Mozambique and from Angola. All of them are South Africans, and yes, and you're right. The British are the other large group of folks who came, but it wasn't an intentional oversight. I mean, there's plenty of groups I can mention, but the Brits have had a big impact. But of course, the Brits and the Afrikaners still have this. They still do this. Even though they marry, knock boots, and have offspring.
It's like the Bulls and the Sharks.
I mean, look, Monty Jackson. What is that? Jackson is not an Afrikaans name. I'm sorry, that's an English name, but he's an Afrikaner. And then in Germany, I go to Namibia, and the Afrikaners and the Germans are, the Afrikaners like, oh, the Germans are just, a bunch of dumb farmers, and the Afrikaners, back and forth. And the Germans like, look at those Afrikaners, they're so stupid. And then they all marry each other, and they speak German and Afrikaans. So I don't really make that big distinction, although they exist. But anyway, and of course, Napoleon said the Anglos always look down to Afrikaners. Yeah, dude, it's just the same way the other way around. Afrikaners hate Anglos just because they're Anglo, some people. So people have hang-ups. Let's not get into that. Anyway, so Fons, so what's next? I mean, the Christmas, are you going to get a tree? Have you thought about that?
Just this morning I saw a tree outside here, and I told my wife, maybe we must go cut it off here midnight tonight.
Do not cut that tree down. You're going to get kicked out of your home there. But what I can tell you is this: is that many years ago, when I first lived on my own, I didn't buy a tree because there was no point in having a tree. So I would go to the tree lots where they sell the Christmas trees, which is a big business, and they'd have branches there. And I'd pick a few branches up. I'd put it in a big flower vase and put water in there, and I would decorate that and make like a little mini tree out of it. Just an idea.
No, I've learned from my past mistakes. I'll leave this in the women's hand. They've got it sorted. So apparently I'm not allowed to interfere there. So we'll just go with the flow for Christmas. So.
All right. Well, Andrea just gave a 35 Rand super chat and says, thank you for what you do, Colonel Chris Wyatt. You're very welcome, Andrea. And thank you for making the clouds gather. I do appreciate that. And Arctic is trying to start a fight here. I'm going to read it, and then you guys can go after Arctic. Arctic says, lack of options. Why would you marry an ugly Mariki when you can marry a hot Megan? Ooh, that's going to start trouble. I don't think you can see that Fons was making a gesture there. He wasn't saying anything.
He's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Going to be in trouble. All right. So what else do we need to talk about here? You're just there for a month. So I think we need to revisit a few months down the road to see what's going on and see where you're at. But again, the South Africans are there. You can tell them they're welcome to come on the program. Look, this certainly doesn't do much for me other than I'm helping spread the word, And so, I mean, I'm not doing it for any reason other than that. So they're welcome to come on anonymous if they want. But every time someone gives an interview, it's another chip removed, another brick in that wall removed from the fake stream media, from the politicians who lie about this stuff. And we show that people are adjusting. But if people don't adjust well, we also tell the truth. So anyway, I'm going to invite you back on. But before, I don't know if we should wrap up because you've only been here a short time. But you've had some advice for South Africans. Any more advice or things you should tell them other than not to stress?
Look, we've already spoke about it. I think a couple months down the line, we should revisit this. But we are thinking of having like a little group of Afrikaners here to have a live with you in a group setting, so then you can have various opinions, and they all seem pretty keen to do that. So I think that's something we must look at. And I was also a bit hesitant to come on live on your show, but my wife told me, the fears we had, hundreds and even thousands of people is currently having in South Africa. So maybe one or two of their fears can be addressed or feel better about something like that. So all I'm saying is I stressed for nothing. It is truly the South Africans that's here already. Some of them that flew with us, amazing people. The Botha family, I think they ended up in Fort Worth, Texas. The Copenhagens, they here in Denver. It's wonderful. The people, the guys that you will fly with, it's like you become a family. It is, we chat every day. I mean, the moment I wake up, there's, 100 WhatsApps, and they're asking, how are you? What are you doing today? What's the weather like? It is, people that just come this side. For your own safety, your own fears, come this side. Don't worry about anything. You will be looked after. So, and if we had our social security number already, both my wife and I would have been working by now. And we've only been here like a week. So it shouldn't even be a concern for anyone coming this way. It shouldn't.
Well, I think those are great, wise words, Fons. I appreciate that, and that's what I try to convey to people. I mean, I still am gobsmacked when people are like, "Will I be able to find work?" I'm like, "Well, unless you're a moron or lazy." And they're like, "You're coming from a country with 40% unemployment. We have 4% nationwide here. In some states, it's less than 2%. So I don't know what the stressing is over that. I get the stressing over moving to a different place, but I mean, I guess maybe because I've spent my entire life moving from country to country and place to place, and I've lived in 16 foreign countries, that for me it's old hat. So I've put myself back in the shoes when I was a young man, but even that doesn't apply, because if you're in your 40s or 50s, it's a much bigger deal. I don't know. You held something up there. What was that?
That's my favorite Frappuccino.
He's got a frap up. Yeah, I haven't.
That's your fault. That's your fault, Colonel.
That's my fault. I'm going to get blamed for that now. Well, I got to get some residuals from Starbucks then for the sales of those things.
And I had to try the Mexican Coke as well. It just tastes different.
It does. It tastes much better than that crap we get in America, doesn't it? Because it's not made with high fructose corn syrup. It's made with natural cane sugar like it is in Africa.
Oh, it's just very nice. Very nice.
Well, there's a super chat coming in from Yell Tapper in 600 Rand. And he says, Danke, Alfonso, für jouw bereidwilligheid, of your willingness, and your positive insight. Ons waardeer jou on via Colonel Chris. Okay, so he's saying for your willingness to come on and your positive outlook or comments. And what is waardeer? I don't know, waardeer.
Appreciate.
Okay, we appreciate. Okay, we appreciate. Okay, yeah, that's a word I didn't know, or I couldn't remember in Afrikaans, but that's not bad. I got that.
You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to help. I mean, if I can help any Afrikaner or anybody coming this way, everyone that I spoke to here, we will help. It is just how we are. So if there's anyone that needs any info or wants anything, or if I can go and find out something for them, just shout. Just reach out and we'll go help. I mean, if there's something you want to know from Walmart or wherever, we'll go there and we'll find out for you. I mean, let's just get everybody here and get everyone settled. It's going to be so quick for you to be settled, at least 3 months. You will be on your own feet and you won't look back.
Well, we got a couple questions coming in. If you guys got questions, get them up there quickly. But he's 2 hours behind me, so it's early for him. But get your questions up quickly. Conrad is saying inset is input. Yeah, that makes more sense.
No, but he's a blue bull, so no questions from Conrad.
Well, you're a shark, and I lower myself to talk to a shark fan. My goodness, the guppies are terrible.
The sharks is just above the VP, so the stormers,
Oh, please, borderline. The province and Stormers are way above them. Come on, man. Anyway, it's
Just the first weekend, they actually won a game. Or the only team that won
the
the
only
game.
only team that won the game this weekend. My goodness, all your credibility went out the window there a moment ago. But there is a question here, and I'm going to caution the audience when he responds. And Mark says, "Hey, Alfonso, can you tell me when you got there? Did you get a SIM card for chatting and calling, or did you have to buy it? Also, when looking for work, do you have a laptop or do you use your phone?" So I think he said they were walking around looking for work. Someone offered them work. They weren't looking for work. So I don't know if he can answer. But on the SIM card, everyone's experience is different. There's lots. I just ordered a new SIM card from Pure Talk. They have it guaranteed. If you order it by December 7th, I think it's today, or maybe it was yesterday, you get a lifetime. Unlimited data, unlimited text, unlimited calls in the U.S. for $29.95 forever if you get it. So I ordered a SIM card from them to get that deal. But anyway, there's lots of options for it. But what did you do to get your card? Because a lot of people, you can still keep your South African phone. Just use Wi-Fi until you get a SIM card. What did you do, Fons?
Okay, so when we got here, we were told our phones will work. Okay, so we got to the refugee agency for our big interview on the Thursday, was it the Wednesday? The Wednesday, yeah. We arrived Tuesday, Wednesday we went to the refugee offices. So they gave us 2 SIM cards, one for me, one for my wife. So when we got home, we put it into our South African phones. Hey, it didn't want to work. I don't know I think it's the type of phone, was a Xiaomi and a Samsung. It didn't want to work in any of the phones.
I doubt that that's the problem. I think the problem is probably you had a locked SIM card, a locked phone. That's probably what it was.
It could be. So on Thursday, when I went to Walmart, I bought a new phone. I think it was $39, a Walmart make phone, TCM, but very nice. And I bought a SIM card, a Verizon SIM card with that unlimited data and what. So that cost me about, I think, $74 for the phone and the SIM card. And Hendo sent me that link. I think the SIM card you talked about, but I didn't have Wi-Fi. We don't have Wi-Fi here. I didn't have data. So I first had to go buy the phone, buy the SIM card, and now we can look at actually that SIM card thing you and Hendo spoke about.
Yeah, no, it's that's Pure Talk. It's a deal they had. They're trying to grow their subscriber base, and so I thought I'd try it. I'm paying what was supposed to be guaranteed $30, including taxes, for Sprint, and then T-Mobile bought them out. Now they're charging me $40 a month for a business phone. I'm not even using it, so I'm going to go Pure Talk for my business phone. It's going to be $29.95. So I'm just, but the taxes come on top of that, so it's going to be $30 something. But the point is that it's plus they also give you data when you go overseas, which I didn't get with Sprint, so I had to pay a fortune for that.
Just for the second part of the question, I do have my own laptop. Yeah, so I've been looking for jobs since back in South Africa, but I've done my resume already back in South Africa. So when we went to the refugee agent, the employment specialist guy came, and I had a session with him. So I just gave him my resume, and yeah.
So just asked a question. He said, we went for medicals and the injections were out of stock. Will we get the jabs once in the U.S.? No, you won't come to the U.S. till you have the jabs. You won't come to the U.S. Yeah, you're going to get the jabs there.
No, that's not right. That's not correct.
No?
That's not correct. So when we went there on the 24th of September, we went to that IOM medical place. None. They had no vaccines for everyone. So they made a note and said that when we come for our medical in the US, we will get our vaccination. So we came here with 0 vaccinations.
All right, excuse me just a moment. Yeah. Can you connect me to Marco Rubio? Yeah. No, we can't have these people bringing pestilence into our country. No. This is unacceptable. You're letting these South Africans come over here without jabs. I've got a problem with that. I'll be in Washington tomorrow morning. I want an appointment with Marco Rubio. We cannot allow this to happen. That is unacceptable. Thank you very much. Anyway, all right. Well, that's not how it's supposed to work, Fons. So I'm telling you how the law is written. So they're making an exception. So exceptions are possible, but that's not how it normally goes. So okay, there you go. So I'm incorrect based on his experience, but not on the law. Trust me, I'm not wrong on the law. So all right, well, good news. But so they're letting these sick people come in our country. I mean, Trump warned us about this. You know, they come across the border, they got disease, and they're criminals. Wait a second, we invited you guys, so I guess that doesn't count. Are you there? Oh, you are
Yeah.
there. Okay, I thought I lost you there for a second.
No, yeah.
Oh, West.
No, they did make notes on it, and they told us the first thing when you land your very first doctor's appointment, you will get your vaccinations then. They told us, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, but it has to be done quickly. I mean, you can't come over because it also puts you at risk because we have illegals coming across the border bringing hepatitis and bringing measles and mumps and rubella in the country, and we don't want to put you at risk. That's why we do it. So Cristo de la Guerra says, "Thank you, Colonel Guest." Tentra says, "When it comes to power, does it make sense to bring over a desktop or laptop?" You addressed that, but listen, if you have a desktop. Unless you can afford to ship that, which is silly, you can get a power desktop here for less than $1,000 if you have the resources. But my recommendation with a desktop is remove the hard drive or the solid state drive from that and carry it with you. That's what you should do, and just leave the computer or sell what's left to someone. There's no need to do it. You can get someone to take a hard drive, put it in a pre-made case over here for a few $100s, and you can have a PC up again. But you're going to have to buy a screen and all that. But if you have a laptop, bring a laptop. But my recommendation is, if you have a laptop and a PC, just strip the hard drive or the solid state drive out of your PC and bring that with you, because that's your data. That's all that matters. You can get a new machine. In fact, because mine's been acting like a petulant child, I'm now seriously considering buying a new gaming machine because I'm tired of fighting with this computer.
I mean, I had a look at Walmart at the computer, at the laptops, and you can get a brand new laptop for $120 at Walmart now. So.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's probably one of those Google laptops. I mean, with Chrome laptops. Yeah. But anyway, so all right. Well, I'm looking to see if there's any other questions came in here. That's why the measles outbreak. Exactly. It's all right, Napoleon Demina. That's why we have measles outbreaks, because illegal aliens pouring in this country and who've never been vaccinated, and suddenly, oh, look, America has a measles outbreak in El Paso. Gee, I wonder why they're slipping across the border. That's why. Anyway, we also got some people who are, they're opposed to the jabs. I mean, they've got this thing about autism, which isn't true. Don and Dustin, 2 PCs like that from, there you go. See, Toothless Wonder. That's exactly from there to the UK. Gotcha. Emil Bernard Osthuizen, I assume that's Osthuizen, doesn't show up over here, said, in our medical group, we only got 2 jabs and we were told the last one to follow when we arrived. Okay, well, that's good, Emil. Good. Okay, many. So I was incorrect, but I'm not incorrect under the law. I was just incorrect under your experiences. RAM prices are insane at the moment. Yeah, they are, Napoleon. So then you go with 16 gigs instead of 32. You downsize until you can afford it, and the prices come back down and the tariffs are lowered. There are no stock of the MMR vaccine. That's probably because, so that's interesting. There's no stock of the MMR vaccine. Do you know why? Because all these freaking South Africans are being processed through the refugee program. You've drained the entire stock of South Africa. Oh, there's a slow uptake, Ronnie Lamola says. Ronnie Lamola, you were clueless, buddy. We got so many people applying to this program, but we can't keep track of it. What else we got here? Yeah, but measles aren't really a thing. Oh, they are a thing. Let me see. If we have to wait for immunizations, no, you don't have to. Are you listening, Sandra? They corrected me. Someone in the chat corrected me, and Fons corrected me. Okay. Do the refugee agents perhaps give any indication how many more refugees? No, they won't know. Okay, that's now that's a question. The refugee agents don't know. All they know is who's coming to them. And we have dozens, if not hundreds of agencies. The people in Maine don't know how many people are going to Kentucky. The people in Kentucky don't know how many people are going to Pennsylvania. The people in Pennsylvania don't know how many people are going to Pennsylvania. They know how many people are coming to their agency. That's all they know. They're not going to know any more than that. So it's a silly question. All right, Fons. What else? What have we missed? We missed anything for this time?
Is there anything else, Bob, that we need to talk about? Chris, I just think... everyone should just take a step back, relax. Your turn will come, and breathe, and just prepare. The flight is long. The seats are like very small, so some of the people, the elderly people that was on our flight, they actually went to hospital with their ankles and lower feet swelling. So they were checked out by doctors, I know. Luckily, it wasn't like a blood clot or something. They were scared it was a blood clot. So luckily, it wasn't a blood clot. So just prepare. It's a long flight, for the elderly people. It's just drink a lot of water. Just think about things like that. So.
Yeah, it's deep vein thrombosis that they get concerned about, particularly for the elderly and also for diabetics on flights. Compression socks is something that helps people. I can't stand this thing. They feel horrible, like the nylon on my skin. I tried them once and they're horrible. But they do work for a lot of people. People wear the deep vein thrombosis. Yeah, it is. It is, Yell Tappy. You're correct for people over 50. And water retention is also an issue, too. The cabins are pressurized. Otherwise, you'd all be dead. We'd all die on a flight. The cabins are pressurized, but it's still not ideal. And they try to keep the air. So if you're fortunate enough to fly in a 787, those are incredible aircraft. But I don't think that's the flights are coming over. They're using Airbus, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if it can be answered. Luggage when flying in connection flights, is it one? Yes, that can be answered, Tim. I've answered it many times, and Fons can confirm here. Not sure if it can be answered. Luggage when flying in connecting flights, is it 1 times 23 kg, including one's ticket from South Africa? No, when you check in to travel, your bag is checked to your final destination. Now, when you arrive in America because of terrorism issues, you have to reclaim your bag and recheck it in. Although they started changing that recently. When I flew in last time, I didn't have to claim my bag. It just got rechecked. That had never happened before in the last 30 years. Last 30 years, every time I've flown. So normally when you come to America, you go into Cape Town or Tambo, your final destination, they're going to give you your boarding passes to get you to your connection and get you to final destination, and your bag will be checked all the way through. However, normally when you arrive in the States, you have to go reclaim your bag and take it to another place and put it back on the belt so it goes through security again. So that good.
Yeah, just on that subject, Colonel. So we came over with 3 bags, one suitcase for each one of us. But on our arrival in Newark, my one suitcase was destroyed. The wheels were broken, the handle was broken. So people should just take care, If you do put like valuables in your suitcase, just wrap it in clothing or something. I think these oaks are really abusing the luggage.
Yeah, do not put valuables in your baggage. Carry them on your person in your carry-on. Worst case, do not put valuables. They will be stolen in OR Tambo or Cape Town. Do not do that. Also, if you try to think you're clever and put lots of locks on there, they just break locks. Don't waste your time and money. Don't waste your time and money. But you get one bag at 23 kg with both these airlines now. It used to be 2 bags at 32 kg. Then it was 2 bags at 23 kg. Now it's 1 bag at 23 kg. Pretty soon you'll only be allowed to go on your underwear because the weight considerations. You can't board unless you're in your underwear. But the bottom line is that you can pay for excess baggage, but that has nothing to do with the refugee program. Nothing. That's you personally. When you get to the airport, you go to the airline, go, I got 3 bags. Can I pay for extra? I think Delta's charging like $100 US right now, and you have to pay dollars. So you have to put in a credit card if you don't have $100. I think you still have to put in a credit card anyway. And then United, I don't know what they're currently charging, but they were charging $160 a bag back in the day. So that's how that works. That answers the bag question. Go ahead.
Just one more thing. With clothing, we went to the thrift store, a Goodwill store next to Walmart, the one close here by us. Man, there's clothing there, like $1 a shirt, a t-shirt. There's like jackets for like $5 a jacket. So don't break your heart. You're not gonna fit in enough clothing for you. It's like brand new clothes that they are selling there. So clothing shouldn't even be an issue here as well for the refugees. And I mean, it's a big place. It's like the flippin' Edgar's.
Yeah, it's definitely bigger than that. But the United flight may in fact be a 787 to Newark. I don't think I've flown that flight recently.
That was a 767.
767, yeah. So I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm not sure they're flying any 787s right now. But the 787 is incredible from a passenger standpoint, just like the A350 is, not A350, the A380. That's massive, but those aren't really flying. No, that everyone. What's this? What's Arctic saying? No. Anyway. Doc Dynamic says, so privileged to be going to live in America. Wish it was me. Yeah, I think a lot of people have come over. It's gone pretty cool for them. But you got to be ready to take off and get going. Sounds like Fons is ready to get the job done. So where do you put the Kruger ends? In your sock. No, that reminds something. When you come to America, if you've got cash over $10,000 or equivalents, even in foreign currency, you must declare that. You don't necessarily have to pay tax on it, but you have to declare it to customs. You're bringing in that currency here. They just track that. It's $10,000. Anything below that, you don't have to declare. That's per person. So, if you got 30,000, 27,000, split 9,000 between the three of you. Okay, 9,000 each. Okay, I may miss it. What industry is Fons in? Oh yeah, we didn't ask that question. Benjamin asked, what industry? Are you comfortable telling people what you did, what your field you were in?
Casinos and security. I've been a branch manager for one of the large security companies in South Africa. I've worked at the golf estate as an assistant manager. Security surveillance has been my trade my whole career since leaving school. So I see there is lots of opportunities. The one person that the refugee agent, the refugee recruitment specialist, apparently there is a guy that might be willing to carry the cost for my registration here in Denver. So I'm holding thumbs for that to come as well.
Well, there you go. And we've talked about this in many other interviews with people, but it's now wintertime in the States, so you're not going to see yard sales because people don't stand outside and sell yard sales. We have flea markets. We have yard sales. The closest thing in South Africa, you have a big flea market in Cape Town down there, just outside of Woodbridge, just before Woodbridge Island along the sea. But we have flea markets, we have yard sales all over the country, and then thrift stores. Thrift stores are a big deal. And I think somebody mentioned about buying underwear. No one should be selling underwear at a thrift shop. If you get underwear at a thrift shop, I would go somewhere else. But I think it was a joke. But yeah, so those are all options too. And lots of Americans, they get rid of their things and they recycle and get new things. And there's lots of good quality stuff available. So the flea market in Cape Town is called Nyanga. They literally sell fleas. Well, I don't know. There's an awful lot of white folks go to that thing. Are they selling fleas? I mean, you'd be worried about them selling fleas. All right, Fons, final words. What do you got to share? I think we've covered everything. I like the idea you talked about, a bunch of you in a room. Ideally, I'd like to be present in the room rather than do it from long distance. But, I mean, I don't know if I can get out to Denver anytime soon. But short of that, yeah, I'd love to get you all in a room. But we're not going to be able to use your laptop because, my friend, that camera sucks. We're going to need a better laptop but it's
older than me, this laptop, and it's still working. So I'm very proud of this thing. And it survived a trip from South Africa. So
well, that's good that it got there. And yeah, so it'll be time for you to upgrade here soon once you get working, get yourself something new.
Absolutely.
Does Fons know slockles? What is that? I don't know that word. What is that? Slockles.
Okay, but I think down the road, Colonel, we should do the group thing, even if we do it on Teams or Zoom or whatever. But we spoke about it yesterday about it, and they seem pretty willing to do that. So, I mean, by the time we do it, a couple months, we'll probably have need to hire a hall or something.
I heard the laughter in the background there. So there is this question that's out there. I didn't raise it, but someone finally asked a question. It's Yell Tapper. What's with the stuffed animal behind you?
Okay, so I couldn't let Pikachu be alone for this interview, so I brought his friend with. His name is Mkwanazi, and he's from a small little village called Nkandla, there in KwaZulu-Natal. So I'm actually keeping him very close by because some of his friends has a tendency to fall from high-rise buildings in Paris. So I'm keeping him very close by. That's why he's sitting here.
All right, so there we have it, the infamous Mkwanazi, who is the subject of a big commission right now that's going on in South Africa. Yeah, so I noticed you had Starbucks and you had a stuffed animal there trying to replicate Pikachu and Starbucks. But because of Arctic, I haven't had a Starbucks for a while now, so I still haven't.
It's very nice. You should have one. Is the bet still on?
Oh, the bet's over. I won the bet.
No.
But we're past the bet now, and I picked up 6 cases of them.
I thought I would entice you to have one today.
Well, if I have one, it'll break Arctic's heart. And I don't want to break his heart just yet.
Shame.
That's coming. Yell Tapper said,
I,
your camera is great. Just clean the Vaseline off the lens. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Funny, Yell Tapper. Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. So, cool beans. Fons, thank you so much. You have a lovely day to you and your family. Merry Christmas. Thanks for coming on. We'll chat soon and get that crowd set up. We'll go ahead, we'll do it soon. If we can do it before Christmas, would that be cool? Just before Christmas, we could do it and have everybody pop in there, and it would be great. And we'll talk about Denver. I think that's a lekker idea.
Let's see what we can do. I'll do that. And Colonel, thanks for everything you did for not only for me and my wife, my daughter. You know, I think most of these refugee aspirants feel the same way like we do. Not only yourself, I mean, Professor G, Morney Botha, Lily van die Plaas. There's so many, né? You know, and every one of them at some point did give valuable information. And we for sure truly appreciated it, especially your videos and your refugee things. I mean, I watched it religiously, you know, and yeah, thanks for what you do for us and the time and the effort and all the blood pressure rising that you had to endure on our behalf. Thank you for that, Colonel. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's pleasure on my part. So, Fons, thank you so much. Again, Merry Christmas. We'll chat soon. I'll let you drop off the chat, and I'll wrap it up here for the audience. All right, folks.
So, same to you, Colonel.
All right, folks, that's Fons out there in Denver, Colorado, who kindly gave us his time today. He's only been in country for a week. He seems pretty satisfied so far. But, I mean, you know, there will be pitfalls. Not everything's perfect. It's not a primrose path. Things happen, but so far it's going very well for him and his family out there coming over to the U.S. Refugee Program. And I thought, thank you for having the time and the courage to come on the program. Appreciate that. Once again, I send out a clarion call to any Indian and colored South Africans who've come over, because we really need to end this nonsense about, this is a program for farmers. It's not. It's a program for Afrikaners. It's not. It's a program for whites. It's not. It's a program for racial minorities in South Africa. And so thank you. That's the first time I've had a conversation with someone about their flight over, and there were no Indians or coloreds on the flight. So that kind of surprised me. Every time we've talked to someone, they've confirmed that there were folks like that on the flight. This is the first time. Fons seems like a nice guy. No wonder his home serves as a halfway house. Yeah, Denver is not. Yeah, Denver's a nice place to visit. Colorado's a nice place to live. And student says, great interview. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. Yeah, no, Fons is very grateful, but he thanked all those Johnny-come-latelys, Professor G and Lili and Morney Botha. Just teasing. Just teasing, guys. Everybody adds something to the mix who is serious about sharing about this program. So funny. The Utah family were with me the day before they flew. Known them for years. I'm looking after their son till his ticket arrives. The Colonel, you see, it's a good place. Oh, no, Julie Davidson White. Oh, the Davidson White, that's a very Anglophone name there. Julie, Utah is a lovely place. It's beautiful. It's absolutely amazing. It's getting a little too crowded for me, but I'm just kidding. I was just in Utah. I was just out in Utah. I was in Salt Lake. Courtney McBride was there. He hosted me in Salt Lake, and I stayed in the Hilton downtown. Beautiful, clean city. Lots of stuff going on out there. Great economy. It's an amazing place. A lot of Mormons. If you don't mind the Mormons, you're good to go. All right. Cool. All right. Eat your chocolates. I haven't had them yet, Sammy. Actually, I'm going to run out because it's 7 o'clock. I have to be at the Veterans Organization because it's today is the anniversary of December 7th, the day the Japanese attacked America in 1941, 84 years ago. So I give a presentation there. That's at 7 p.m. So I've got 2.5 hours. But I'm running off to the LL Bean store. Now that there's an LL Bean store near me, I'm going to drive the 20 kilometers and get there and see what they've got because maybe they got sales on for Christmas. Anyway, I haven't been there. So you guys take care. Thanks for being here. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done already. How are we doing on likes, by the way? We got analytics. Where are we at here? Okay, why is it not showing me the stream settings? It's not showing me that. They've changed this again. Now I can't see how many likes are. That's just annoying. Very weird. YouTube keeps changing things. Don't inform us. Anyway, we can see the presentation. No, it's just a one. Mark, it's just a statement. I'll read it tonight on Night Owls. You can watch it tomorrow if you can't watch Night Owls tonight. He was baptized in Mormon Church, says Jared. Okay. Yeah, 417. Thank you for that, guys. I can't see it anymore. It's there it is. They put it up here. Okay. All right. Cool beans. All right, so they keep moving stuff around the studio. Anyway, I will. It's just a one pager, and I can't read it now because I got to get going. It's going to take me about a half hour to get to where I'm going. A half hour back, so that means it's 5:30, and then I get back. I got to get ready. So, all right, thank you all so much, and my thanks to Fons and to whoever was in the background who was laughing, whether it was Lorraine or whoever it was. Thank you all so much, and have a lovely day. And we'll catch you next time. Cheers later tonight. Okay. All right. Cheers, everybody. Bye bye.